Hello everyone, and welcome to the Carmen Shue Real Estate Show, featuring my highly popular and successful seminar, A Practical Guide to Buying a Co-op, a Condo, or a House, Things You Should Know and Mistakes to Avoid, which I have presented at the New York Public Library for approximately 12 years. I am Carmen Shue, the president and owner of Shue Realty Inc. and the host of this show. Shue Realty Inc. is located in Midtown Manhattan, so if you are in the market to buy, rent, sell, or even invest in real estate, please give us a call at 212-687-1944 or 646-319-8831, or you can email us at leisurerealty@aol.com, and we will be most happy to assist you. For the benefit of those people who are seeing the show for the first time, I would like to explain to you how this show works. Each week I present a different topic on real estate, and each show has 3 different segments. The first segment is the introduction to the show, where I tell you a little about myself. The second segment, I speak on a topic on real estate, and in the third segment, I speak about the different issues facing people living in co-op and condo buildings. Having said that, as part of my credentials, I am a licensed real estate broker, a speaker, a writer, and a published author, and I have contributed to articles appearing in Real Estate Weekly and Brokers Weekly, the papers of our industry, and other reputable publications. In addition to the New York Public Library, a couple of banks and a famous church have all hosted my seminar. In 2005, a famous cruise line invited me to present my successful seminar on one of their cruises. In 2006, Real Estate Weekly, the papers of our industry, added my name to its lists of honorees as one of their rising stars. And in 2017, a professor from NYU International School of Real Estate was watching my show, and he invited me to do a couple of presentations at his classes. As a former board member and an assistant treasurer for a reputable Upper West Side condominium for approximately 6 years, I was considered the key catalyst for saving the condominium from going into bankruptcy by reducing costs in several areas, such as renegotiating long-term contracts and sweetheart deals, comparison shop for goods and services, which manifested in the unnecessary increases in their common charges for several years. Because of the popularity and the success of my seminar at the New York Public Library, I am very much excited about bringing it to you on television, particularly since I am in the real estate industry. I feel compelled to give vital information and important tips to the public about what they should do and should not do when purchasing real estate. After attending several real estate seminars and watching many real estate shows on television over the years, I have come to the conclusion that this show is different from all other real estate shows. Why? Because I find that everyone is telling the public to buy real estate, but I'm the only one who is telling the public about the pitfalls that they might encounter when purchasing real estate. Look, I am not sitting here every week telling the public that they should not buy real estate, because, in my opinion, I believe that purchasing real estate is one of the best investments one can ever make, but only if you know what you're getting into before you sign on the dotted lines. On this show, I give you the ins and outs of purchasing real estate, and I use the no-nonsense, tell it like it is approach, and I practically hold your hands and walk you through the process. And if you follow the process that I am about to impart to you, you should have no regrets after you've made the purchase. The information I am about to impart to you comes from many years of personal experience and research from governmental agencies. While this program is geared toward first-time buyers, it is also for those people who have already made their purchases so that they can evaluate their mistakes if there are any. The tips I will be giving you are simple. They are elemental, but they will work for you if you follow them. During the course of the show, I will be giving you the whole concept of purchasing real estate, which can be used whether you're purchasing a little studio apartment in Manhattan, a 3-family house in Hong Kong, or a mansion in Palm Beach now or 100 years from now. The concept still remains the same. The difference in purchasing real estate in any part of this country, or any part of the world for that matter, is the real estate laws. While I will be focusing on the purchase of co-ops and condos because they are a common form of real estate ownership in New York City, I certainly will be giving you enough information to assist you with the purchase of a private house. This program is meant to inform, educate, and empower new buyers of real estate and to assist you in making wise choices by preventing you from making costly mistakes. This clear and simple program will help eliminate many of the fears and even anxieties that you will have when buying or even selling real estate. It will offer you a unique opportunity to learn valuable lessons of the things you should do and should not do when purchasing real estate. Long before you start looking to purchase real estate, you, the buyer, must put together a team of experts to walk you through the process. And that team of experts should include an experienced real estate broker, an experienced real estate attorney, and, if possible, an experienced banker. And all these people should be looking out for your best interest. However, it will take a very savvy buyer to put this team together, and one gets savvy by following the practical guide I am about to impart to you. If you need more information about this show or Shue Realty Inc., or if you have comments or questions, we welcome them. Please call us at 212-687-1944 or 646-319-8831, or if you're inquisitive in knowing what we've been doing over the years, you can Google us. This is where I inform the public that before I begin the show, the information given on this show is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be used as a substitute for seeking legal advice. I urge you to contact an attorney and or an accountant for advice before you purchase real estate. By the way, if you like the show, I am available to do presentations at your corporation. I will now take a short break, and when I return, I will explain to you what a co-op or a cooperative is. Welcome back to the Carmen Shue Real Estate Show. I am Carmen Shue, the president and owner of Shue Realty Inc. and the host of this show. Shue Realty Inc. is located in Midtown Manhattan, so if you are in the market to buy, rent, sell, or even invest in real estate, please give us a call at 212-687-1944 or 646-319-8831, or you can email us at leisurerealty@aol.com, and we will be most happy to assist you. As promised, in this segment, I am going to try my very best to explain to you what a co-op or a cooperative is. A co-op or a cooperative is a type of multi-family ownership in which the residents of a multi-unit housing complex own shares in the cooperative corporation that owns the property, giving each resident the right to occupy a specific apartment or unit. Buying in a co-op or a cooperative entitles the buyer to purchase shares to a long-term proprietary lease to the apartment. The proprietary lease entitles the buyer to certain rights and obligations with respect to the use and occupancy of the apartment. The governing body comprises of board members, which are voted in by the shareholders. The board's responsibility includes, among other things, hiring a management company who will pay any mortgages on the building, pay the real estate taxes, pay payroll taxes for the employees, pay insurance and other operating expenses, and these expenses are paid for from the maintenance collected from the shareholders. The maintenance charges may increase from time to time when other expenses such as water rates, electricity, and employees' payroll have increased, and the board can also impose assessment on the shareholders to make up any shortcomings. When you get a loan from the bank to purchase the shares in the apartment, you pledge the share of stocks and proprietary lease to secure the loan. Payment of the loan and the monthly maintenance charges constitute the carrying cost on the apartment. There is certain tax incentives associated in owning a co-op, and this is based on your tax bracket, which you will discuss with your accountant when you file your yearly income tax returns. I will now explain to the best of my abilities what a co-op is, and I will list some of the facts that will help you understand what a co-op is. 1. A co-op is considered to have a more stabilized community. 2. In a co-op, you are a shareholder in a corporation. You do not own the apartment outright. Rather, you own shares in the corporation, which is identified by a stock certificate. You own a number of shares in the building that is allocated to each apartment based on its size and location. 3. You are referred to as a shareholder, a lessee, or a subtenant. 4. In a co-op, your purchase is contingent upon the approval of the board, in which case you will have to have a face-to-face meeting with the interviewing committee, which may consist of one or more board members. 5. When you apply for a mortgage, the bank is more stringent in its requirement, so is the board. 6. In a co-op, the real estate taxes you pay are included in your maintenance, and it is paid directly to the Department of Finance by the corporation. 7. In a co-op, the building usually has an underlying mortgage. Therefore, a portion of the interest that the corporation pays on the underlying mortgage is tax deductible to the shareholders. 8. As of this writing, the interest that you pay on your personal mortgage is tax deductible. 9. In a co-op, the corporation is governed by the proprietary lease, the bylaws, and the certificate of incorporation. 10. As a rule of thumb, the down payment in a co-op is usually between 20 and 25%, but it varies from building to building. And this amount is determined by the board. 11. In most cases, and as a rule of thumb, the price of the co-op is usually lower and the maintenance is higher. And this is because co-ops are in older buildings, need more repairs, and have an underlying mortgage. 12. A co-op has first lien on your apartment, and the board can foreclose on your apartment if you do not pay your maintenance. This is the end of this portion of the show, and when I return, I will talk about the many issues facing people living in co-op and condo buildings. Please do not go anywhere. I will be right back. Thank you. You're watching the Carmen Lee Shue Real Estate Show. I am Carmen Lee Shue, the president and owner of Lee Shue Realty Inc. and the host of this show. Lee Shue Realty Inc. is located in Midtown Manhattan, so if you are in the market to buy, rent, sell, or even invest in real estate, please give us a call at 212-687-1944 or 646-319-8831, or you can email us at leisurerealty@aol.com, and we will be most happy to assist you. As promised in this segment, I am going to talk about the many issues facing people living in co-op and condo buildings. Since 2010, State Senator Liz Krueger and other state senators have been introducing bills which, if passed, would protect us from the tyrants and bullies that are sitting on co-op and condo boards, especially co-op boards. In January of 2019, State Senator Krueger and other state senators have introduced State Senate Bill S2604. The purpose of the bill is to create the Office of the Cooperative and Condominium Ombudsman within the Department of Law to serve as a neutral, informative, and accessible resource available to cooperative and condominium residents, prospective shareholders and unit owners, board of directors and managers, and other affected parties. The office would work to educate shareholders of cooperatives and owners of condominiums, their boards of directors and board of managers, professionals working with and for such boards, property managers, and other interested parties about their legal rights and responsibilities under federal, state, and local laws and regulations. Other responsibilities of the office would include to prepare educational and reference materials, to organize and conduct meetings and public hearings, to provide mediation and other form of alternative dispute resolution, to offer monitors and vote counting services to assure fair election for board membership, and to provide service to the governor of legislature regarding new and existing legislation which affects cooperative shareholders and condominium homeowners. The ombudsman would have the power to subpoena and enforce the attendance of witnesses, administer oaths or affirmations, and examine witnesses under oath, and require the production of any books and papers deemed relevant to any dispute rending before the office. The Secretary of the Governor is to ensure that all state agencies provide the ombudsman with assistance in advancing the purposes of the office, and to assure that the activities of the office are fully coordinated with the activities of the state agencies providing related services. This is only a fraction of State Senate Bill S2604, and I urge you to Google the bill and read it in its entirety. This show has been on the air for approximately 13 years, and if you have been watching the show in any regularity, you will see that I have been talking about the many issues facing people living in co-op and condo buildings. Since 2010, when State Senator Liz Krueger and other state senators have introduced the many bills, they have been getting a pushback from the Republicans when they were in power, and they have also been getting pushbacks from special interest groups, the Bar Association. The Bar Association is against the bill because they claim that there are laws on the books to protect people living in co-op and condo buildings. However, they do not mention that those laws are antiquated and have not been revised since the 1950s. Therefore, since no judges or attorneys or politicians have the guts to upgrade the antiquated laws that are on the books that they claim protect people living in co-op and condo buildings, State Senator Liz Kruger and other state senators felt it was necessary to introduce addendums to the law. Among other things that is listed in State Senate Bill S2604 is that a co-op board must give a prospective buyer a reason for rejecting their application. As it stands, a co-op board does not have to give a reason to a prospective buyer for rejecting their application, and as you know, I think it stinks. Why? Because as a real estate broker who has staking prospective buyer to purchase apartments in a co-op building, it can be time-consuming, it can be costly, and it can be very stressful. After you have selected that special apartment in a co-op building, you will have to supply a tremendous amount of paperwork to the co-op board. And from time to time, they will come back to you for more documentation. After they are satisfied with the documentation that you have submitted, you will require to make an appointment to have a face-to-face meeting with the interviewing committee. And depending on the time of the year, when many of them might be away on vacation, you will have to wait a long time to get that meeting. And that meeting can be very brutal. Before you meet with the co-op board to have that face-to-face meeting, your real estate broker and your attorney must prep you for that meeting. My recommendation is that you should go to the meeting with a positive mind. One of the trick questions that the board will ask you is if you have any questions. And if you have positive questions, then you should ask them. However, I would not recommend that you ask negative questions, because they might use that against you, and they might think that you are a potential troublemaker if they approve your application. What I would suggest is, if you have negative comments, you should wait until you are approved and you move into the building, and then you should run for the board. The other issues that I have with co-op and condo boards is staggered term limit. Staggered term limit must be imposed on co-op and condo board members. It is not unusual for a co-op or a condo board member to sit on their boards in excess of 30, 40, 50 years, and even perpetually, and they brag about it, and they put it on their resumes. I believe that term limit must be imposed on co-op and condo board members. My recommendation is that a co-op or a condo board member can serve on their boards for 6 years, and they should step down for 2 years. And after 2 years, if they wish to run for the board, then they can. But no one should be sitting on the co-op or their condo boards perpetually. My next issue is quorum. It is not unusual for a co-op or a condo board to not reach a quorum in years or even have an annual meeting, which is required by law. In my co-op building, the board has not reached a quorum since 2009. And the only reason why we have reached a quorum in 2009 is because some of us formed what is called the concerned shareholders, and we encourage and urge people to come out and vote. After that, the board does not make any effort to encourage people to vote, because it suits them fine, because they get to sit on the board perpetually. My next issue is anti-harass law. Several years ago, City Council passed the anti-harass law, which protects rent-controlled and rent-stabilized tenants from being harassed by their landlords to vacate their apartments so that their landlord can rent it for more money. If you live in New York City, you would have heard of that scenario. City Council even went further by putting teeth into the law where, if found guilty, A landlord can be fined anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 in fines for harassing their tenants to vacate their apartments so that they can rent it for more money. In 2019, City Council and the Governor has also tightened the law when it comes to rent stabilized and rent controlled tenants. I applaud the law and I think it is an excellent law. However, I would like to see similar laws passed to protect people living in co-op and condo buildings from being harassed out of their apartments by their boards, the managing agents, and even the superintendent. I am a prime example of someone who the board has tried to harass out of my apartment. In 2010 and again in 2014, my board has tried to evict me from my apartment after I have exposed alleged fraud in the building, but I fought them back and I won twice. And I challenged them to come after me again. Over the years that I've been doing this show, I have heard many horror stories. And it's about time that someone is listening to us and that someone is trying to protect us. Therefore, I urge you to call your state senators, your local politician, and urge them to bring to the floor State Senate Bill S2604, because if passed, it will give us some respites from the tyrants and bullies that are serving on co-op and condo boards. This is the end of this show. Until next time, America, and especially New Yorkers, do something nice for yourself today, tomorrow, or any day, because you deserve it. And thank you so much for watching the show.